I'm Tia Williams, Midlands Anchor CEO and founder. I'm here with another CEO and founder, Mike Meyers, Tradeversity.
We wanted to create an exclusive marketplace for students where you know you're only dealing with other students. We require an EDU email address. And it's a way for students to buy, sell, and also share anything and everything, but knowing that they're dealing in their university community.
I always wonder about how many people out there, hopefully people are actually watching this video and the startup stories we do regularly, that do have that itch. There's something in them that wants to do a startup. They understand that, obviously it's going to be scary and there's that plunge you have to take. And for people that don't really understand as much how the anchor ties into this whole startup economic development story, our mission statement drills down to connecting, engaging, and igniting the Midlands region. And that's, a big mission statement for a publication. But part of it is, one, we're in that connecting piece right now. We're trying to bring, especially startups together, people that have these stories, help them to understand who each other is, also let the, viewers hear what they're going through. So I think for me, what's helpful, and partly selfishly why I do these interviews, is to learn from each other and to know that at the end of the day, our industries are very different, but I think a lot of what we struggle with is more mental resolve, knowing how to get through those really, really hard days, just kind of knowing how to problem solve, but just figuring out how to look at things differently. I think I get stuck in a rut, and I almost always just have to take a day off and completely clear my mind. And then if I talk to other startups, it helps because I realize, one, I'm not alone, and two, I think there's just that creative burst that comes through basically putting yourself outside of your comfort zone.
I look at our advisory board, and they're very immersed in the startup community, but this company, each of them are really what I'm grateful for because they all are successful in their own ways, all entrepreneurs,
right?
And have been able, and they're all local, most of them, and have been able to come in and coach and mentor me, and also have patience because as a young, naive CEO, that I'm trying to learn how to walk before I run, and I'm in a race, right? And so they've been able to coach me and kind of guide me down a path where if they didn't come into my life, I'd be like, holy crap, I don't know where I'd be right now.
Yeah.
So.
How do you surround yourself with a support network, even outside the startup community, that kind of gets you the emotional juice that you need to make it through?
I think a big part of entrepreneurship is what happens when you're not working,
right,
or when you feel like you're working. And I think there's this bad perception too with entrepreneurship where you have to sacrifice other aspects of your life to be successful professionally.
Right.
And a true entrepreneur in my eyes, and someone that's really successful, they're living all aspects of their life at a level 10. Whether it's relationships, whether it's personal, family, health, education, they're constantly learning. And they're excelling in all aspects.
Right.
And that includes family and relationships, so that's a big part. We have adders and we have subtractors. And we either have people that are adding value to our life, whether it's positivity, encouragement, support, teaching us something, investing their time in us.
Right.
And then you have people that are the subtractors. And as we grow as entrepreneurs, things around us begin to change.
Right.
Right? Sometimes we can take a few steps back, sometimes we go forward, but as we grow, things around us change, and so do the people. And that's been one of the toughest things to come to terms with is, people I've been friends with for years, I might not be friends with through this process because they are uncomfortable with it.
Right. One struggle I have, and it's tough that it's one of those things I just have to deal with, but I used to be a very, very, very involved in the volunteer community. I struggle with this mental guilt of where I used to be able to give back a lot more. I can't just be a resource for all my friends like I was in the past. I have to be really humble and honest with some of my good friends there that I almost need more help than I can give right now. And that's tough. I think it's something that a lot of people are in the startup community understand. You're going to go through periods where you just can't do all the things you want to do, and you can't be there for the people you want to be there for them.
So what have you done to push yourself through those periods? Because we all go through that.
Yeah.
But what are some of the things that you've been able to do to really overcome those and kind of teach yourself how to go past those?
I still will, try to go out of my way at least several times a week to put everything aside and spend an hour with a friend or do whatever where I feel like I'm putting them first. But I have to be okay with asking for help.
Well, I think real friends and just real support systems are defined by when you're going through this, they recognize it and they want to support you.
Right.
My close friends that have been there with me through all of this, they're calling me up asking, hey, how's Tradeversity going? How can I help? I've had friends come out on marketing days when no one else would come out there with me and help pass out marketing material on campus, right?
That's cool.
And even from a support standpoint, my parents calling in and friends and family always checking in to see, am I doing okay? And so I think that's how we really define it. If it's,
Right.
Who are real friends, and then who's those subtractors.
Yeah. One good thing about being an entrepreneur, if you want to have a way to get your humility in check and your ego in check, just start something. Just start a small company of some kind. You'll quickly figure it out.
100%. 100%. I think it's, blending the humility. You have to be confident in your abilities and your ideas,
Right.
but also know that your abilities might not be what they need to be.
Right.
And that's okay if they're not. That's where the confidence comes in, is you're going to figure it out regardless.
Right.
But the humility is when you're out there, you don't let your ego come in. And
Right.
you're out there with the intention to learn.
Surrounding yourself with people who are more skilled than you are, and asking for really good critical feedback is huge.
I think the key is also knowing your values and having your moral compass in check.
Right.
That was the one thing I was taught at a young age, that going into business and just in general. And I think if you know your values going into it, that helps eliminate some of the mistakes when it comes to being ethical and so on, because
Right.
if it doesn't feel right, it's probably not right.
Right.
And if it doesn't feel right, you probably shouldn't do it.
Right.
No one ever looks back and says, I really wish I didn't listen to my gut that one time.
Yes.
It's always
so
the other
true.
way.
And I think surrounding yourself with good people and being patient and, celebrating
Patience
small
is,
wins.
that in itself, and
Yeah.
celebrating the wins too, but the patience component,
Yeah.
as entrepreneurs, we tend to be very impatient. I mean, I'm the worst offender.
Right.
And it's a good thing because we drive growth and we drive the company, but it's also bad because we want that growth and success right away.
Right.
If you're going to build a wall, you shouldn't focus on, okay, what is this, how fast can I build the wall, how fast can we lay each brick? It's how perfectly can I lay that brick today?
Yes.
And what am I going to do tomorrow and
Right.
the next day? And when you do that, that's where we've seen our most growth, is taking a step back and being a little more lenient on ourselves,
Yeah.
and realizing that it's not going to happen overnight. I think that's, my advice out to anyone is, it takes patience, and it also takes being comfortable not knowing it all.
Yes. And I think it's just something that we have to have that community. That's why it's so important, and that's what we're trying to do here, is bring that community virtually together. So.
Well, and what you all are doing is incredible. I mean, the community itself, and being able to bring, it really comes with everyone talking about, the issues and what's going well, as well as what needs to be improved.
Yeah.
And the fact that you all are doing that, and you're leading the charge on that, I think is remarkable, and that's really what it takes to produce a winning Columbia. I'm honored to be here today, but the company as a whole, to even be connected with you all, that to us shows us that we're doing something right, but it's because people like yourself and the Midlands Anchor are willing to invest your time into wanting us to share our story. So we're really grateful for that.
Oh, thank you, Mike.
So,
I appreciate
thank you.
that.
Yeah,
Awesome.
absolutely.
Yeah, cheers.